Okay, hello and welcome everyone into today's video. So today we are actually talking about how you can use webhooks inside Five. Now webhooks can be really useful. For example, let's say that you are building a system and you want to send an incoming message to an external platform whenever you trigger a particular event inside your application. So these can be easily achieved by using webhooks. Now for today's video, we'll be using Slack as an example. If you don't already have an incoming webhook or webhook URL of Slack, it's really easy to make one. I'll put this link down in the description. All you have to do is follow these simple steps, and then you'll have a webhook that you can easily use inside Five. Okay, so let's go back to our application. So what I have here right now is the property finder template that you can find from our website. I'll put the link down in the description for you as well. So let me first run the application and show you what we have so far. Okay, so when we first run our application, we have our login page. So let me just quickly log in. Okay, so now I'm inside my application. So as you can see in my application, I'm currently logged in as an admin, but in this application, there are two user roles where you can either log in as a customer, where customers use this particular menu to fill out a very simple booking request for any particular property that they would like to inspect. Then these records are sent to administrators, which I am logged in as. Okay, so what I want to do is that whenever a customer fills up this form, I want to also send a message on our Slack server, basically this server, which is customer booking. So that whenever a customer makes a booking request, the managers are actually notified in their own Slack channel. Okay, so let's see how quickly we can do this. So currently, whenever we click on submit, we actually just call a very simple JavaScript function. So let me just go back to the development environment. So if I go to tasks and click on processes, and now if you click on booking request, so this is actually the form that you saw on the screen through which the customers will make a booking request. So it's actually simple process inside Five. And if we click on events, you can see that we actually call two functions, which is whenever we actually show this form on the screen, we invoke this function. And whenever we click on the submit button, we call this particular function. So let's click on view. And then Five opens up the code editor and we can actually view the code. So as you can see, currently we are just populating information inside our table using SQL. And then we are just simply sending a notification to the administrators that a customer has made a new booking request. Okay, so now what I want to do is that I want to extend this function so that it also actually uses the webhook and send a message inside our Slack channel. Now let's see how we can do that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just below our function, I'm going to paste another function, which is called as SendToSlack. So let me just quickly go through it. So it's a very simple function actually. I'll put this down in the description for you can easily copy and paste it as well. So in this, we are just getting all the customer details and putting them inside our variables. And then we use the Five API to set up an HTTP client and store that inside the client variable. And then we simply set the content type to application JSON and set this set the content of what we actually want to send in our message. So currently it sends the customer ID, the property that they actually like to inspect. It's actually the property ID, the time, and the inspection time that they selected. After this, we just, in a try catch statement, we just simply send a post request to the webhook, which is given to us by Slack. Now, in your version, you'll just replace this particular URL with your own URL and you should be good to go. So now that we have this function, what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to original function, and then just after we have done populating our tables, we can call this function. So let's do it, SendToSlack, and pass in all the variables. So it needs Five, it needs context, and it also needs a result. Okay, so as you can see, we are actually passing these three arguments, Five, context, and results. Now any function inside Five will actually need these three arguments in order to work. So as you can see, even our original function has all these three arguments, and we actually sending the same variables inside the new function. Let's now run our application and see if we are getting a response in our Slack channel or not. So now I'll log in as a customer. Just do customer. Now, as you can see, the customers only get this form. So let me just quickly fill it. Let's select one Alexander Street, put in my name, the city. Let's select a date and time. So let's select 21st December at 6:30 p.m. Method of contact can be an email, and I'll just put in my email here as well. And now we click on submit. But before doing that, let me just open up a Slack channel, put them both side by side. And let's click on send now. And bam, we instantly get a response in our channel. So our webhook is working. Okay, so a couple of more things that I would like to highlight over here is, so the structure of the response is actually I've basically gotten it from the Slack's website. So if I go back to this original URL where it actually guides us to create a webhook, if we go back to the very bottom, you see they have actually specified how the content type can be structured and everything else. So everything that you see inside the client and everything, we are just following Slack's guidelines. So you can also essentially just replace that with any other webhook, follow their own guidelines, and essentially your application can communicate with any other external platform as well using webhooks. Okay, so that's it for today's video. If you like today's content, make sure to like and subscribe. And until then, thank you all very much, and see you all very, very soon.